Hey guys, we've just celebrated our 2-year anniversary with YouTube, and when we started we were using my old gaming PC to edit our videos, and let's just say as the time has gone by, the PC has started to perform worse and worse, so it's time for an upgrade. Lucky for us, AMD has released a beast of a CPU, and we thought, why don't we upgrade and invest into our future? With this in mind, we'll be using the Ryzen 9 3900 to build our new rig with all of this around us. Stick around and you'll find out why we chose all of this equipment for our media rig. To start off, we're using Asus ROG Crosshair 8 Hero motherboard. We went with this board as it sits on top of the tier list when it comes down to VRM, thus giving us potential to overclock our system in the future. It also comes with Wi-Fi 6 and 2.5 gigabit network, which goes well with editing off the NAS box. Being X570 board, it supports PCIe Gen 4 with Ryzen 3000 series. We managed to snag a great deal during Black Friday on a 1TB Nvme drive, which was only marginally more expensive than their top tier Samsung Evo 970 Plus, but provides a much higher speeds. In all honesty, I don't think we would notice any difference, but I really wanted to have the bragging rights of having 5 gigabytes per second speeds, so it's a win in my mind. On the other hand, that's it for our storage capacity here. We will not be using any spinning disks for the time being, as our data is on the NAS. Next up is RAM. Here we went for 32 gigabytes of Corsair Vengeance PRO with 3200 MHz speed. As you can see, it actually comes with RGB. It's 2019, so RGB is up. Plus, it's roughly the same price as non-RGB version, so what the heck. For the GPU, we have gone with Asus ROG STRIX 2060 OC. This isn't the fastest or the newest in the RTX lineup, but because of this, it provides great performance for the money. This PC is primarily going to be used for video editing, and this card should be more than enough for 4K editing. Maybe in the future, we'll upgrade to something beefier. As to the case, we have got a Phantex P300 MIDI tower. It's pretty small and only comes with one 120mm fan at the back. To keep up with the RGB theme, we've installed an RGB fan at the top of the case, which will hopefully help with the airflow as we're using an AMD stock cooler. Now let's jump in and see how well it performs. We tested our old PC, which is running Intel i7 8700K with a 4.6 GHz overclock across all cores, and the new rig at stock settings, and then gave it a 6% overclock to 4.25 GHz. First, we did a quick round of synthetic tests, starting with Cinebench R20, where our old PC is averaging just over 3000. And the new PC is over 2 times higher at 6500. Overclock yields 7% improvement on top of that. Then heading into pass mark, the gap does shrink due to the high core speed of the 8700, but the difference is still closer to double. Not bad. Overclock here yields about 6.5% improvement. Last synthetic test is DaVinci Raw benchmark. Here we pick 8:1 raw compression as a baseline and see overall improvement of about 44%. What's interesting, that between 1080p and 6K, it's consistently 43%. When it comes down to 8K, it's actually 48%. Once overclocked, the move shifts opposite way. We gain about 21% on the 1080p to 6K and 18% on 8K. For a real life example, we're using DaVinci Resolve to export the recent video we published. This is a pretty simple video with minor color corrections and a bunch of titles. Here we observe something interesting. When rendering in 1080p, the new PC is actually 1.6% slower. On the other hand, when rendering in 4K, it's about 28% faster. It does seem when it comes down to lower resolution, just like in synthetic tests, the higher clock speed really helps. But when we get into the high resolution, because there's simply so much data, more cores clocked slightly slower produce much better results. Overclocking proves this, and we get about 5 to 6% improvement on both. When it comes down to DaVinci Resolve, it's not all about rendering speeds. We found that scrubbing, and especially when you add extra layers such as animated text or pictures, the new PC is much more responsive and smooth. And this is exactly where additional cores of 3900X come into play. Next, we exported some pictures from Lightroom. On the old PC, 280 pictures took just over 8 minutes. On the new PC, just over 4 minutes. Overclocking shortens this by another 20%. I feel like there is so much more to gain from overclocking the CPU, but I'm limited by the stock cooler. Don't get me wrong, it is great for running at stock speeds, and even at those, this CPU just shreds through the tasks. But when it comes down to pushing it, first of all, it gets loud, very loud. And then I had to play back and forth with the clock speeds and the voltages to keep it from overheating. At full blast, this CPU hits 85 degrees at stock, and when I have overclocked it, it gets closer to 100, and then it gets a little unstable. I have already ordered an AAO water cooler to do more overclocking. It'll be interesting to see how far we can push it. Lastly, the bragging rights of the Nvme drive running off PCIe Gen 4. In the old PC, we have two older Nvme drives in RAID 0, and I thought it was crazy fast. We used to get about 3.1 GB read and 3 GB write speeds. New PC gets 5 GB read and 4.3 GB write. Well, while I can't really tell the difference, it's a bigger number, it must be better. Overall, this is not a fair test by any means, and it wasn't supposed to be. In a way, this testing process was justification for us getting all this stuff. It would have been funny if we didn't actually get any gains. I'm glad it's not the case. Let us know in the comment section below if there are any other aspects you would like us to check out on this rig. And don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next one.